Sicario is a 2015 film directed by Denis Villeneuve. Following a raid, FBI agents Kate Macer and Reggie Wayne are enlisted into a task force to strike a blow against the Mexican cartels, specifically a criminal named Manuel Diaz. After a series of morally dubious actions, Macer questions the legitimacy of the mission, but she and Wayne remain with the task force. It's revealed that Matt Graver, who has authority in the mission, may be working for the CIA, and that Alejandro Gillick, another member of the team, is actually there to assassinate Diaz's boss, Alarcon, who murdered his family. Gillick murders the Mexican cartel boss's wife and children, then Alarcon himself. Gillick threatens to kill Macer if she talks. Under duress, she signs a document absolving the task force of any wrongdoing. Villeneuve's films are stylistically fascinating, as he often utilizes heavy use of color symbolism and lighting to inform the audience about the greater purpose of what he is trying to convey thematically. Sicario's use of color is a form of moral shading, commentary on the rightness or wrongness of becoming as villainous as one's enemy in order to achieve some greater good. The most frequent color in the film is beige. Sicario is drowning in it. Some of it may have been unavoidable even if it were not intentional, like the landscape of Mexico and rooftops, but the film actually looks filtered through a haze of beige color, either through the immediate on-set work of famed cinematographer Roger Deakins or in post-production. We see beige in interior shots like this one, at this pivotal moment in the tunnels, the inside of a plane, these vehicles, and here and really everywhere. I could spend an hour pointing out everything beige in the film. So what does it mean? Why is it so purposefully present in Sicario?
You will not survive here. You're not a wolf. And this is the land of wolves now.
It's a moral neutrality, a safe veneer. Graver and Gillick wear beige outfits. When the mission starts, we see Graver's standard beige shirt. Gillick is introduced wearing a beige suit jacket, but with a dark shirt underneath, hinting he may be hiding something. Later, when it is time to cross into Mexico, he takes off his beige jacket, and the camera lingers on him tucking it away. He symbolically drops his facade and becomes the monster, the wolf. Towards the end, he is cloaked in shadow, and finally, he becomes a silhouette. In this scene, Reggie Wayne tells Gillick not to leave him in the dark. Gillick responds, "Are you afraid of the dark?" Macer is clad in blue, representing the police, the law, order. She wears blue throughout much of the film. Her character is defined early on. When someone asks what the initial raid team should tell their bosses, she simply states the truth. Macer is almost always shown dressed uniquely among everyone else in the room, such as in this scene. She and Wayne have concerns about the legality of the actions of the task force. In some ways, Wayne is the most sensible and incorruptible character. Once he realizes what is happening, he urges Macer to leave the case. Macer loses her blue, her perfect sense of law and order, as the film progresses, and she begins to wear a gray shirt instead. In the end, she wears white, regaining her morality, but the shirt is a little tattered and withered, like she lost something along the way. In the beginning of the film, we see curtains obscuring the light. This happens right before the raid that results in several deaths. We stay on the pattern for too long for it not to mean something. At the end, we see Macer obscured by curtains. She has lost some of her light as well. When Gillick threatens her and tells her to sign the document, to lie, she insists that she can't do it. Although not explicitly stated, this references her previous obligation to the truth. Only under threat of death does she sign. Her last scene is ambiguous. She chooses not to kill Gillick. Is she surrendering to his way of life, accepting his morally dubious choices are correct? Or is she choosing not to become a murderer, a monster, like Gillick? Was this her salvation? There is more color symbolism. Only 2 minutes into the narrative, Macer is forced to kill a man in self-defense. A splash of blood colors an otherwise dreary film. This happens in a room with a red curtain. The red light showers over her, marking her as someone who has taken a life. Later, she takes a shower, washing away the blood and the events of the day. The vehicles at the base may be beige, their public face, but the task force uses black vehicles during their potentially illegal actions. Dark colors and light colors, neutral colors, all become interchangeable. A confused, ambiguous morality.
Keep an eye out for the state police. They're not always the good guys.
These words become prophetic and foreshadow Gillick kidnapping a corrupt Mexican police officer named Silvio in order to get closer to a high-ranking member of the cartel. We are given every indication that Silvio is, in fact, one of the good guys. His crucifix over his bed, he sleeps on sheets of white, and wears a white shirt, but he is seen working for the cartel, presumably to help his wife and son. But is he even among the worst individuals in the film? Is he a villain because he is doing wrong for what he believes is the right reason? That could be asked of almost every major character in Sicario. Very few come away clean. Even the leader of the cartel justifies his actions, saying it is only business, and claiming that he learned how to perform his misdeeds from people with legal authority. He asks Gillick if he thinks that the people who sent him to be an assassin are any different. He asks, "Who do you think we learned it from?" Even the most noble characters in the film are corrupted, and yet Gillick, who murders children by the end of the film, still has some humanity. Although he never openly comments on this, and the camera never stays on it for very long, he is generally seen wearing his wedding ring, long after his family passed away. Although not explicitly said and only shown in visuals, what we are seeing is moral relativism, the concept that moral judgments are relative, and that no standpoint is uniquely privileged over all others. In and of itself, it's not that problematic. It's only a rejection of moral absolutism, which carries even more frightening implications. But in Sicario, we see relativism taken to its extremes, justifying any action that might serve oneself, or, as this shot implies, any action that might serve one's country. The American flag is as prominently displayed in the background as the barely seen characters. The flag motif reoccurs several times in the film, generally when Macer is forced to make a difficult decision related to the law and her job. As she protests the legality of her mission, we see the flag in the background of this shot. When she brings her concerns to a higher authority, the official tells her to continue with the mission as he sits in front of the flag. Even the United States-Mexican border can be seen as crossing the line, the idea of holding on to one's personal code until circumstances push oneself in one direction or another. The task force crosses the line as they cross the border. The United States-Mexican border should be obvious and unambiguous, but Macer is not even told she is going there until she lands. She was only told that she was going to the El Paso area, which is in Texas, not Mexico. Her uncertainty about the border mirrors her uncertainty about right and wrong over the course of the film. Characters on both sides of the conflict mirror one another. Graver, for example, is smug and sure of his behavior. He is representative of an American stereotype, arrogance of his country's righteousness in spite of evidence to the contrary. In this scene, we hear him whistle "Hail to the Chief," the official presidential anthem of the United States. Who he is and what he is to the film is rather clear. His opposite, Manuel Diaz, is similarly arrogant, asking a police officer if he even knows who he is when he is pulled over. Macer is being used by more powerful entities within her government, forced to make terrible moral choices related to her work. Similarly, Silvio must make difficult choices about how to provide for his family and chooses to work for the cartel. The title is fitting, as it is a form of the more ancient word Sicarius, meaning assassins in Rome centuries ago. It's showcased in the opening text as meaning more of a freedom fighter than assassin, but that ties into the moral relativism of the film. Now it means a criminal assassin, but is it that different? Someone can be a hero to some, and a villain to others, with only individual perspective to decide the difference. Thanks for watching the latest episode of Renegade Cut, everyone. If you want to support the show, you can click the orange link to my Patreon. That's how all of this happens. If you want to subscribe and never miss an episode, click on the red link. If you want to watch more, there are some recommended videos below. I'll see you next week for another episode.